So without exaggeration, I think this is probably the best lease deals video I will have ever made, simply because from start to finish, there are exceptionally good deals in this video. These are all in-stock EVs. Now, early next week, there'll be a video on hybrids, petrols, diesels, etc. This is one that is just EVs, and they're all in stock. And trust me when I say there are some of the best deals I've ever shown in any video in this one. Let's get started, shall we? Now, these are nearly all 3-year deals on 3 months up front and 10,000 miles a year. There might be the odd one or two that's a 2-year deal, so just keep your eyes open sort of up here in case I forget to point it out. We're starting off with the Nissan Leaf. This is the 110 kilowatt Tecna, 39 kilowatt hour, £201 a month, 603 up front, 168 mile range, insurance group 24, 420 litres of boot space. Average price on that over the last 12 months has been 285 quid a month. At its lowest point, it was 189, so 11 quid less than it is now, 12 quid less than it is now. And at its peak, it was 363. Fantastic value car. If you just want a fairly cheap, brand new EV, there you go, in stock. Just remember, these in-stock deals will be gone very, very quickly. So if they're not there when you click my link to lease logo below, which I know you're going to do because you're lovely, it's just gone, all right? So you need to jump on these quickly. Peugeot 𝙃2008, 251 a month with 753 up front, 10,000 miles a year in stock, 213 miles of range, 136 brake horsepower, insurance group 25, 434 litres of boot space. And look at this one, folks. Average on it's been 557 quid. This goes back to January. I think it had some sort of midlife facelift or something. 251 quid a month is the lowest price it's been, and that's right now. As you can see, just a couple of weeks ago, it was £608 a month. That's insane. It's currently 251. Get on it. Peugeot 308 is next, E308. GT, this one, 280 quid a month with 842 up front. This one is a 2-year deal, 250 miles of range, 156 brake horsepower, 361 litres of boot space. Personally, I might still be tempted by the E2008 if I were after this kind of size Peugeot, so similar kind of cars. But look at this, 721 has been the average on this one. This is the GT, remember, so probably they don't get through too many of these. 280 quid a month is the lowest price it's been. It's actually been 12 pence a month less than this, and that was probably about an hour ago. At its peak, 967. I mean, it kind of speaks for itself. Sticking on a similar theme to the Peugeot E2008, Vauxhall Mokka-e, 100 kilowatt ultimate, 50 kilowatt hour, 310 litres of boot space, insurance group 22, 209 miles of range, 136 horsepower, 292 quid a month on that one with 878 up front. Average on it, 563 quid. At its lowest point, £292.70, which is today. So go and get one. Do you see what I mean here, folks? We're seeing some prices here, but look at this. If you want sheer performance versus pounds, nothing will touch this. Like nothing. 239 miles of range, 435 brake horsepower, insurance group 40, 289 litres of boot space, 929 up front and 309 a month. There is, of course, the MG4 X Power. Price history on it, 407 quid a month has been the average on it. At its peak, 449. Currently, 309.73, which is the lowest price it's ever been. A couple of weeks ago, it was 435 a month. And as you can see, for most of the year, it's been over 400 quid a month, or certainly late 300s. It's £309 a month. Now look at this, 0 to 62 in this car is 3.8 seconds. That is supercar speed. That's incredible performance for the price. I think it's sort of too fast for the kind of car it is. I don't know why you need that much power in that size of a car, but that kind of price, why not, I guess. Folks, if you're thinking about getting yourself a lease car, please consider gap insurance. To me, it's a bit of a must-have. You're probably looking for 3 years cover on most of the cars in this video, around about 100 quid to cover them for 3 years. And basically, it protects you. If the car's written off, the insurance company don't pay out enough, you are protected. You don't have to pay back the lease company £4,000 extra out of your own back pocket. Their gap insurer will step in. Use the code GYM10 and you'll get 10% off pretty much most of the products on this site. You've also got things like car warranty, you've got scratch and dent cover, alloy wheel and tyre cover, all those kind of things are on here. But I think the best value product you could possibly get is the gap insurance, because it's so cheap, and if you are unfortunate enough to need to use it, it could save you a good few grand, or at least a good few £100. So I think it's worth its weight in gold. So go to ala.co.uk, use the code Jim10, or click the link in the video description. Now, this one's been around for a minute now. It's the Nissan Ariya. It's the advanced e-Force Auto with the 22 kilowatt charging. So if you do have 3-phase charging available to you, then this will do the trick. 319 miles of range, 408 litres of boot space, 306 brake horsepower, 0-62 in 5.7 seconds. 535 has been the average on it. 697 at its peak. At its lowest point, it was a tenner a month less than it is right now. It's an incredibly good car. I love the Ariya. I think it's a brilliant thing, and it's great value at £380 a month for what is a really decent, practical family car. One thing on this, a couple of people have said, I've mentioned it in a previous video, but they've said they've gone through. I think the company that comes up top is usually one called Leasing Options. It is still. If they tell you that there's only versions of this car available with different paint and it's going to cost £50 a month more, please challenge that. Please ask them why they keep repeatedly advertising it if they can only offer something with a different option. And please report it to Lease Loco. I have, other people have. Please do the same. This is one of the deals of the moment. This is a fantastic deal on what is a great family car. The VW ID.7 Tourer, so think basically an electric VW Passat, and you can't go too far wrong with that, really. Match Pro spec, 77 kilowatt hour, 5-door automatic, £403 a month with 1,200 up front, 373 miles of range, 286 brake horsepower, 605 litres of boot space, 6.6 seconds to 62. Way more practical than a lot of SUVs out there. Lovely thing to drive. You'll cruise down the road in it. It soaks up the miles. It's got loads of range, absolutely acres of space. I think it's a brilliant, brilliant car and a really compelling family package. If I were looking to lease a car for my family now as our main family car, I would be looking at that quite seriously, very seriously, in fact. In fact, I'd lease one. £1,200 up front, 403 a month. Average on it's been 556, at its peak 637, and you've guessed it, the lowest price it's ever been is now £403.91 a month. You really cannot go wrong with this thing at that sort of money. I think it's a good looking car as well. It's definitely the best looking of the ID range, in my personal opinion. And where's that boot? Look at that. Whoa. And folks, please don't forget to use that link to Lease Loco. As you know, it's how I keep the lights on. Polestar 2 is next. 82 kilowatt hour long range single motor, 406 miles of range, 299 horsepower, 405 litres of boot space. I've reviewed one of these on my channel less than a month ago, so go and check that video out. In fact, I'll link it at the end of this one. £418 a month with 1,256 up front, 0-62 in 6.1 seconds, 406 miles of range, 299 horsepower, 405 litres of boot space. 586 a month has been the average. At its lowest point, it's right now, £418.77, and at its peak, 758. Great saving on a brilliant car. It is a brilliant alternative to something like a Tesla Model 3. If you're very tall, I'm told you might be uncomfortable in it. I'm not very tall, so I'm supremely comfortable in it. I think they've got one of the best seats in the business. I love the way the cockpit kind of wraps around you. I think it's a great car, but you can find all that out in my review. VW ID.5 is next. The Tech Pro, 77 kilowatt hour, £430 a month with 1,290 up front. 326 miles of range, 174 horsepower, insurance group 28, and 549 litres of boot space. 0-62 is 10.4 on that one, so it's not rapid, but, you know, it's a family car. 419 has been the lowest point on this. It's currently 430, so it's not too far away from that. The average has been just under £500 a month, and at its peak, 655. It's, again, a fairly compelling offering for that kind of money. Folks, only about 30% of you watching this video are actually subscribers. So please subscribe. It takes 2 seconds. It costs you nothing and it helps me out. And I really need to grow those subscriber numbers. I'm trying to get to 50,000 this year, and I'd love it if you were one of them. Renault Scenic E-Tech is next. I was at Geneva this year when they named this World Car of the Year. This is the 87 kilowatt hour long range Techno, 379 miles of range, 217 brake horsepower, insurance group 32, and 545 litres of boot space. Nearly lost my teeth then. 1,300 up front and 444 a month. Price history on it, well, 482 has been the average. At its peak, it was 729, but that was just a little blip, as you can see. And another little blip was its lowest point, which was 319. I guess that was probably a cancelled order or something. 444 a month with 1,300 up front. Folks, the best is still yet to come. Look at this, the Lexus RZ 450e Direct 4 Takumi, so that's full top spec in a Lexus. £444 a month with 1,300 up front. Price history on this one, 762 has been the average on it. Its lowest point was actually yesterday, I think, when it was 436. It's now 444. 1,100 quid was its peak. I mean, it's insane. We're looking at a car for 444, which this time last year was almost £1,100. I mean, that's insane, isn't it? 5.3 seconds to 62, 251 miles of range, 45 is the insurance group, 522 litres of boot space, and 313 brake horsepower. Volkswagen ID4. We've seen the ID5s, very similar car here in the ID4. You don't get quite so much ranges in that ID5 we looked at, but some people prefer the styling of these. Basically aimed at the same customer, so I always felt it weird that both exist. 1,324 up front and 441 a month, but that is on a 2-year deal. If you went to a 3-year, it actually goes up by 11 quid a month. Folks, only about 30% of you watching this video are actually subscribers, so please subscribe. It takes 2 seconds, it costs you nothing, and it helps me out. Ford Mustang Mach-E is next, 444 a month with 1,332 up front. This is the Select rear-wheel drive, 273 miles of range, 269 horsepower, 37 is the insurance group, and 0 to 62 in 6.9 seconds. £604 a month has been the average, 636 at its peak, currently 444 with 1,300 up front. Volvo C40 Recharge. This is a bit of a beast in the performance stakes. This is the Recharge Twin Plus, all-wheel drive, 413 litres of boot space, 408 brake horsepower, 340 miles of range, and 0 to 62 in 4.7 seconds. Someone mentioned in the comments the other day that there were going to be some really great used bargains of these in 3 years, and it'll be a real performance sleeper, and it really will, because no one's expecting this thing to do 0 to 60 in that kind of time, are they? 562 a month with 1,688 up front. Average on it's been 700 a month. At its peak, 918. Genesis GV70 electric. I've done a review of this in the past. My mate Alex has just done one over on the Interface Cars channel, so go and check that out. This is the Sport 77 kilowatt hour automatic all-wheel drive, 283 miles of range, insurance group 50, 503 litres of boot space, and 490 brake horsepower. 0 to 62 in 4.2 seconds. 763 has been the average on it, but look at the pricing. It's been all over the place. At its peak, nearly 1,100 quid. On average, 763. Currently, 607. Now, the great thing about this as well is it's on that 800-volt architecture, and that means not only can it charge the car at a really high rate of knots, it can actually keep it there for quite a long time. Lots of cars that say they can charge at 250 kilowatts, or for example, get there for like 3 seconds and then they have to come down again because it all gets a bit too hot. These things can charge at really high rates for a long time. All the Hyundai Group 800-volt stuff is brilliant. Trust me, I've had enough of them, I know. Someone asked me the other day as well, should I get one of these or an EV6, because they're basically the same platform, and this is closer to a Bentley than it is to a VW. This is a very, very luxurious vehicle. And you really have to go and sit in one of these and drive one of these to appreciate just how luxurious it is. And because the running gear is shared with, some Kia and Hyundai vehicles, they are chalk and cheese. They are very different. And there are some people that prefer one over the other. But if you want a proper thing that makes you feel very special every time you get in and out of it, this car will do that for you. I like them. I don't know if you're getting that at all. Anyway, 607 quid a month with 1821 up front. Please use my link to Lease Loco if you're into any of these. I know I say it a lot, but not enough people do. BMW i5 eDrive 40 M Sport, 717 a month with 2,151 up front, 354 miles of range, 340 brake horsepower, insurance group 43 and 490 litres of boot space. 0-62 on that one, 6 seconds. Average on it's £807 a month. At its peak, 1,106. Has been 100 quid a month less than this, astoundingly. It's currently 717 with 2,151 up front. Now, the biggest EV on the road at the moment, I believe, is the Kia EV9. This is the GT Line S, which has got everything. This is in 6-seat variation. You can get 6 and 7-seat versions. This one's in stock, so you're not going to be able to change that. It is what it is. 873 quid a month with 2,621 up front, 313 miles of range, 378 brake horsepower, 333 litres of boot space, and 0-62 in 5.3 seconds. It's been over £1,000 a month on average, this car. It's massively expensive if you were to go out and buy one, but this car has been over £1,000 a month on average. At its peak, £1,208. Its lowest price was a tenner less than it is right now. It's $873 a month with 2,621 up front. If you're someone that likes a vehicle with lots of road presence, or perhaps you're lacking in the old wanky department and you need to, compensate in some way, this will compensate. I had one for a week and it certainly worked for me. Lotus Elitra 450 kilowatt, 112 kilowatt hour automatic, £1,000 with £3,000 up front. We've seen this deal before. It's come and it's gone. Some people that watch were lucky enough to get one of these when they were like 800 quid or something, which happened for about a week not too long ago. 832 at its lowest point. At its highest point, 1,500 a month. On average, 1,300 a month. Currently, £1,000. I know that's a mortgage payment for a lot of people, but a lot of people spend a lot more than that on a car. And certainly if you were going to buy one of these, you would pay a lot more than that for it. And then you're probably going to find the depreciation absolutely mullers you at the end. At least this is a known quantity. You know how much this car is going to cost you during the time you've got it. And that's really how you should look at all these lease deals and how you should compare them to other things. How much is the car going to cost me for the period in time that I've got it? And once you get that sussed, you know if it's going to work for you or not. Folks, please subscribe to the channel. Please use that link to Lease Loco. It really does keep this channel running. And please support our sponsors, ALA. And please subscribe to the channel. I've got some amazing stuff coming up for you. We're going to do some more comparison videos. We look at how much you can save or not by leasing versus other forms of car finance. Got some more used car Best Buy stuff. Got some more new car discount videos coming up. So keep your eyes open. I've been on holiday for a couple of weeks, so there hasn't been massive amounts coming out on the channel, but there's loads of great stuff coming up. So click subscribe and be part of it. Thanks ever so much for all the support for everyone that watches and comments all the time. I really do appreciate it. And don't forget, I'll be back on Monday with the petrol, diesel, plug-in hybrids, all the rest of it. See you soon.